Come on, show. Get some eggs, show. Good boy. That's a good boy. Where are the ladies? Let's go see
the ladies?
How many we have today?
Oh, look at them on their little thing there.
They're ready to go out.
Hello. Do you want to let them out a minute before it starts raining, or maybe?
Yeah, I'm gonna let them out, I think. Let's get our eggs and then we'll let them out. All right. Let's see how many we've got.
Oh, look. There's a couple in here.
Oh, good. Mom, do you want to grab the basket?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Dot. You gave me a heart attack. I didn't know you were standing there. What are you doing? It's the middle of the day. How come you're in here? Don't jump on me, Dot.
She won't.
Let me have 4. Good. They're ready.
All right. Yay.
There you are,
There
girls.
you go.
Very good.
All right, let's go make some soufflés.
Yes. It was so funny with Dot. I wasn't expecting her to be on the perch.
Today we're going to share with you one of our favorite recipes, soufflés.
It's a classic French dish, and it's actually pretty simple to make. It's a little intimidating the first time you try, but over the years, we've probably made hundreds of them.
Millions at least. Be sure to let us know in the comments if you've ever tried making a soufflé and how they turned out.
Shall we?
On y va. So today we're going to make a savory soufflé, a cheese soufflé. So for the ingredients, we have butter, flour, whole milk, which has actually been infused with some aromatics. So that was bay leaf, black peppercorns, and some garlic. We also have fleur de sel, eggs, Comté cheese, finely grated Parmesan cheese, white pepper, and some nutmeg.
To begin, you need to make a bechamel, which is basically one of the mother sauces.
And to do that, you start with the roux. So we have equal parts butter and flour. First things first, we're going to get the butter melted on the stove. So we have our butter here in the saucepan. Ideally, you want to start breaking it up with your spoon because you want it to melt evenly all at once before we add the flour. In the meantime, as that's melting, I'm going to turn on our milk that was already infused with the aromatics and just make sure that that's nice and warm for when we need it in a few minutes. Mom, do you want to hand me the flour?
Sure. You ready?
Yep. We're going to toss it in all at once.
There you
And
go.
you're going to stir like crazy. Now this part is important because it takes about a minute on the stove top to cook the roux. You want to make sure that it cooks that long, otherwise you'll end up with a floury tasting sauce, which is what you don't want. One visual clue is that you can see it starts foaming, so you know you're at the right moment. I'm going to switch to a whisk.
Here you are.
Thank you. And we're going to add in all of the warm milk at once. We turn down our heat a little, and then we're going to add in our salt. And we're basically going to wait until it thickens, which it goes pretty quickly. So remember, when you make a bechamel for a soufflé, you want to make sure it's nice and thick because it has to hold up a bunch of eggs.
In bechamel, you always use a little bit of nutmeg.
Which is delicious.
It is. A little goes a long way, though. And because it's white, let's use white pepper.
And white pepper is just classic for a white sauce.
There we go. That looks good.
And then before we turn it into the soufflé base, I think we should give it a try.
Let's taste
Thank
it.
you. We always like to say this is the sauce that tastes good with just about anything.
That's exactly. You can just taste with a spoon. It's good. All right.
So now that the bechamel is made, we're going to add our egg yolks and make the souffle base. We had 12 whole eggs and we separated the yolks from the whites. When you do this at home, you want to make sure that you don't get any yolk in your white, because if you get any yolk in the white, then your whites won't whip. So we're going to add our 8 yolks one at a time because the sauce is hot.
There you are.
And then I think we will add our cheese.
All right. And it's not necessary that the cheese is totally melted because this can kind of rest while you prepare the egg whites. Another good trick to talk about too is when you have a big heavy copper pot like that, see how we're holding it on the edge? That gives you a little bit more control, and it's especially when it's really heavy. There you go. You want to get all that good stuff out of there. It's delicious.
It is really good.
All right.
And what we're going to do now is just set this to the side and prepare our egg whites.
So now that we have our souffle base prepared, it's time to whip the egg whites. And we always like to whip our egg whites by hand. Very important, this is a beautiful unlined copper bowl specifically made to whip egg whites. But before you actually whip the whites, you have to prepare the bowl. So the way you do that is you just put some salt inside the bowl, take some lemon juice and use the lemon sort of like as a scrubby and basically rub it around the inside to remove any oxidation. Very important then to rinse the bowl in cold water and make sure it's really dry before you start. We have our 12 egg whites. And I always like to say you hold the bowl like a baby. So that put your finger through there and you hold the bowl like this. And it's kind of fun when you do this. This is not the action. What you have to do is really whip. So it's more of a sound, and a smacking sound. So the egg whites start getting really frothy, and then you just keep going. What's nice about whipping in a copper bowl is there's no need for cream of tartar. So keep whipping. It's the acid in the copper that kind of helps the egg whites mount. All right, my arm's getting tired. You want to take over? Okay. We'll do a tag team. Got it? Whoa, that's a big bowl. It's almost bigger than you. Keep going. Keep going. So this takes about 12, 15 minutes. That's why it's good to have 2 cooks in the kitchen. And basically when you whip them by hand too, it takes some time and a little elbow grease for sure. But what's nice about it is you end up with a really nice whipped egg white. It's not chunky. So if you go to use a mixer or something, be careful, make sure you watch them, because if you go too far and they become kind of grainy, your soufflés don't rise as much.
Actually, the grainy egg whites fall faster.
I always like to say it should look like whipped cream.
Yes. We're almost there.
We're getting close. That's like one of my very favorite pieces of equipment we have, is that darn bowl. Almost.
Et voila. So before we fold in the egg whites, let's talk about our ramekins. We were sure to butter them completely on the inside. And then we did a little channel with our fingers to make sure that the egg whites have something to crawl up on, the souffle base.
And it's also really important to make sure you butter all the way to the edge and get your Parmesan all the way to the top, because that helps the egg whites lift, or the souffle rather lift.
Okay.
So shall we?
Now for the egg whites.
So I'm going to put in a couple scoops of that into our mixture here and just kind of lightly incorporate to lighten up that the base a little bit. And you don't have to be too careful in this part. And then we'll start folding. So the action of folding is just basically taking your spatula and cutting through the middle and over the top. And you want to keep it as light as possible and make sure you grab up some of the base over and flip over your whites. So it's totally fine if you end up having like little waves of white. Don't worry too much about that. Okay, that looks good. So So now we'll begin to fill each of our little ramekins about 1/4 of an inch from the top. Using a light hand. Pretty.
So soufflés are always one of our most favorite moments of a meal. We usually serve them before the main course.
It's also nice in the springtime if you can find some green garlic. That makes a nice soufflé too.
Well, I think what's so nice about them is they're so versatile.
Exactly.
And you could really flavor them however you like. We're going to add some finely grated Parmesan cheese, the same cheese that we lined the soufflé molds with. So we've preheated the oven to 350, and these are going to bake for about 15 to 18 minutes.
Very important, don't peek. Moment of truth.
Let's hope the soufflé gods were on our side. Delicious!
Oh, beautiful. Look at that.
I love that crusty top and
Ooh.
creamy inside.
They look so good. Really good. Well, we hope we have demystified the process of how to make a soufflé, and then you'll give it a try yourself. They're very fun, simple to make, and everyone loves them.
And make sure you whip those egg whites by hand.
No cheating. Look at that. They're hot, be careful.
So good. My favorite.